an inmate at Albemarle-Charlottesville Regional Jail. To accept this call, press or say 5. To refuse this call, hang up now. This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hey, Mr. Davis.
Hey, is this Daniel Borden?
Yep.
Hey, it's good to hear your voice, man. I'm glad you called. I was just thinking about you, actually. I was just thinking about you. It's amazing that the timing, but there's a phone number of a guy by the name of Eddie Miller, and he has a radio program, and you're quite a popular guy, whether you know it or not. You got like 450 views from our last phone conversation. Almost all of them are positive and overwhelmingly supportive, but that may not be a lot on several other channels, but on my channels, 450 views is a lot. But
that's big in my book.
Yep.
I've never gotten anything like that.
Well, hey, man, I think people are starting to wake up and realize that you shouldn't have spent a day in prison, much less 3 years and 11 months, if I remember correctly. But you want me to give you this phone number to Eddie Miller so you can give him a call? He has a radio station. I know he would love to talk to you, and he might even want to try to put you on the radio.
Yes, please.
Okay. The name of his program is Blood River Radio, and his phone number is 901. Yep.
All right, yeah. What's his name again?
His name is Eddie Miller.
Eddie Miller, Mr. Miller.
Yep, and he was there at Charlottesville. He's like 70 years old. He's a veteran, and he still runs like 26-mile marathons. And I can tell you that he's very, very sympathetic to what happened to you and Jacob and the others at Charlottesville. He feels very strongly it was wrong, and I think he wants to try to help raise awareness. So I think Jacob's parents, Tamara and Scott Goodwin, have been on his radio program at least a couple of times, probably more than that. But I want to make sure you're aware of him because I know he wants to talk to you. And how are you doing, man? I mean, I hadn't talked to you in a week, and they hadn't tried to kill you or anything, have they?
No. As I told you last time, I'm on 24 hours a day in this hole, so it's been very boring, I guess you'd say. But last time I talked to you, you said to call you on Monday to get these dudes this new radio show's number. So I got some money out here, and I was glad I get a hold of you. But I'm doing fine.
Good. I mean, I always hesitate to ask these prisoners when they call, like, how you doing? It's like, I expect one of you guys to say, how the hell do you expect I'm doing? I'm locked in a freaking cage. When you say 24 hours, does that mean like you're 23 hours locked down and like you get 1 hour to take a shower and walk around a basketball court or something? Or how does that work?
No. I haven't been outside, really outside, other than in the garage at the courthouse. I haven't been outside for 16 months straight. And then,
wow.
I'm 24 hours a day in a cell unless I have to go to the shower, which I'm handcuffed, and they take me over there, and then I get locked in the shower until they come back.
In freaking sane, man. In freaking sanity.
And then the only window we have looks directly into a brick wall.
Wow. And you're in you don't have a cellmate? You're like in a cell all by yourself?
I'm all by myself, but I mean, there's dudes down here with me that I converse with every once in a while, and I talk about what's happening on the radio. I listen to Coast to Coast a lot just to get this
okay.
the best thing on the radio besides Sean Hannity.
Right? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Man, I tell you, I deal with a lot of prisoners, and when usually they say 24-hour lockdown, it's 23 hours in and 1 hour out every day, but they're treating you even worse than that, man.
Yeah, well, there's like the 23 and 1 blocks, which is what you're talking about, and then there's like the disciplinary, 24 hours, the whole. And for whatever reason, they have me back here. They have not given me a solid explanation as to why. I mean, I'm assuming it's because they can't house me anywhere, but they're not going to be moving me anytime soon.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm gonna lift you up in my prayers, and my wife is too. And you're being treated very harshly. And I pray that ends soon, and that you can have better privileges, and that they move you to a place that ain't so dang harsh, man. But well, how are things going, and what can people do to help? I got to tell you, from our last phone conversation, a lot of people started asking questions about you and wanted to know more. And I put that conversation that we had on Jacob Goodwin's page on our website, so people could have a consolidated place to learn about you and him. But I probably asked you this last time, but sometimes I forget exactly, the details. But what can people do to help you if they want to help? Can they mail? Can they mail you paperback books, hardback books? Can they put money on your commissary? I mean, what do you suggest?
Paperback books, and they could. I'm pretty sure you go to jalatm.com if you want to donate to me or put money on my books. But really, I mean, the biggest thing for me is just spreading the word, because they're going to take my books once I get to prison, from what I understand. So
I see.
Spreading the word, sharing the videos. Letters are always nice, just to know that there's people out there thinking about me. But just really, showing other people. That's my biggest thing, because the scariest part about all this is, I was a regular guy on the outside. I wasn't a super political activist, so this can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And I just want to spread that awareness.
Yeah, no, I hear you. When you say it can happen to anyone, I mean, you have that attitude that you don't necessarily want to bow down to the politically correct agenda, and so if other people have that same attitude, they could be next in jail. So let me ask you this while I'm thinking about it. You said jalatm.com, but does that allow me to send you emails? Is there any way that you and I could communicate via email, or is that just not possible where you are?
Well, if you remember, when I first sort of got in contact with you, I sent you an email, and that's because I was in one of those blocks,
Yep.
the guys from the rally, and in there, if I was in a treated as a normal prisoner, I would be able to send you emails. But from back here, I can't do that. I can only call and send mail, letters. So.
Are you able to call? How do you get to a phone? I mean, are you only allowed out like a specific time to get to a phone? How does that work?
They have one phone that they hook into an outlet, and it can reach into all of our cells.
I
so
see.
I just ask for it.
I see. Wow. Okay. Well, that's another reason to get you back to a normal cell, so we could, have email correspondence, because there is a lot of information that I would like to share with you, and I'm being prohibited from doing that because they got you in this penalty box of hell. So.
Right.
My goodness. Well, you talked about making noise and shining light, Daniel. That's what we do. That's what we try to do. In the Bible, there's a story of Gideon, and God told Gideon to get some people and go fight like hundreds of thousands of enemies. And it started out really big, and they whittled it down to 300, so there was only like 300 worthy to go fight. But when they fought, they didn't actually engage in battle. They just made noise and shine light. And then the enemy destroyed each other, and he ended up winning because the enemy killed each other. That's what I would like to see happen. I would like to see us make noise and shine light about the truth of your situation, and then just watch the enemy as they just destroy each other, So.
Well, yeah, that's always the funniest, to see the leftists go after each other. They'll go after each other way harder than they'll go after any fascist or anyone on their political enemy list. But to really get the word out there, every day I start to see more and more people waking up to Antifa and their connection to the deep state and the FBI and all that. So I mean, I know there's definitely an underground movement of basically awakening out there, but to help it in any way from my situation, I plan to do. Yeah.
Amen. The problem that we face is the people that run Google and YouTube and Facebook and all of these social media platforms. They absolutely hate, white people who are not ashamed to be white, and they hate people who stand up for their heritage, and so they do everything they can to squash your story. And like I think I mentioned to you before, when NPR reported on the event, they said it started with a young black man on the ground. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me! That's not where it started, But they twist and spin everything, man, and so that's the problem.
I've had numerous letters of people who have written me and said that, I tried to stand up for you on, a news piece in the comments section, and right off the bat, they deleted their comments and, blocked them from doing whatever.
Yeah.
And people who have made videos about this, shut down their payment options and everything. It's getting bad out there.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, you'll find out who your real friends are really quick, and the analysis that I would give, and I'm not trying to blow too much smoke up your rear end, but when Jesus was hanging on the cross, Peter said, before that happened, Peter said, "Hey, I'll go to jail with you. I'll die with you. I'm never gonna betray you." And then when Jesus was hanging on the cross and all the guards were coming around saying, "Who's his friend?" Peter said, "I don't even know who he is. Who's that guy? I don't even know who he is. I don't know who he is." So that's what's happening with you, is that they are trying to make such a devil out of you, like you're some sort of the biggest devil that, has ever been created in Charlottesville. And so if anybody wants to be your friend or wants to support your innocence or wants to stand up for you, then they better be prepared to, advocate with intelligence, because they're going to have a lot of flack from, mainstream media, because Charlottesville is such a political hot potato. But I say to hell with all that. I'm sick and tired of this political correctness, and I'm sick and tired of them telling me how I should act and who I should support and things like that. And I pray to God that, men across this country get a backbone and start to do what's right. That's what I hope for.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Mr. Davis. And if you think about it, the shutting down, the denial of free speech and freedom of assembly doesn't happen every day in America. And Charlottesville was one of the most obvious, blatant cases of it that we've ever seen, where the state police and the FBI and the far left and the deep state coordinated and actively shut down our freedom of speech and assembly. And if the rest of the country doesn't back the guys from Charlottesville, whatever you think about us, that opens up the door for them to do it to somebody else. That was one of the most obvious cases of a denial of rights in America that I've really seen so far. And if our fellow citizens don't come and stand by us, it's going to be them next.
Yeah.
And they pretty much, they practically do it every day, but that was one of the most, hardcore, out in the open public assembly, I've ever seen, where they had just actively shut it down. We were denied our rights.
Yeah.
And nobody cares. Nobody cares. In the mainstream, they have this totally warped perception of what happened that day.
Yeah.
So I hope our fellow citizens can wake up and come stand by us, because sooner or later it's going to be on their front doorstep, and they're not going to know what to do.
Yeah, it's this squelching of freedom of expression, freedom of peaceful assembly, freedom of speech. I guess you knew that they banned the rebel flag on Amazon. They won't let anyone sell the rebel flag on eBay. It's just insanity. And let me turn this thing around 180 degrees just to give you an example. I'm against abortion, Daniel. We hadn't talked about it, so I don't know what your position is, but I believe that a baby is growing inside the womb. And so people will say, well, you're against abortion, and say, yeah, I'm against abortion, but they say, well, most of the color, ethnicity that's getting aborted is black. I don't give a crap what the color is. I just think killing babies is wrong. And the problem is, if you don't stand up for it on other races, then they're going to start killing white babies. And so I happen to be proud of my race. I'm not going to go around and be ashamed that I'm a white man, but if I stand up against abortion, I'm going to stand up against abortion for all color. I don't want any colors killed inside the womb.
I respect that, Mr. Davis. And the same thing, and you see the same thing with the opioid crisis.
Yeah.
When you look up at the demographics of the opioid crisis, it's largely white, largely Caucasian, European descent, and anyone who sheds light on that, like heroin is designed for specific people in the United States, for middle-aged, not boomer white children. I know 7 kids from high school already who have died and OD'd on heroin.
Yeah.
And when I shine the light that I just see a trend that it's predominantly European Americans who are dying, they'll shut you down.
Yeah.
Take you off YouTube and all that. And the same thing goes for abortion. I don't agree with abortion. I believe it's a human life. The creation of life is special. Even if you're not a Christian or
right.
religious at all, this is something special. This is the creation of life, the most.
Yeah.
Like the epitome of all that we stand for.
Amen.
And,
Amen.
To just kill it is immoral and evil. That's why I understand when a lot of the Christians, they believe that the far left is just inherently evil.
Yeah.
You look at their policies.
Yep.
But I commend you for that.
Well, I appreciate.
Somebody's gotta stand up.
No, I appreciate that too. And what you said earlier about if they don't stand up for you, then they're coming for them next. I mean, that's really important because in the Bible, there's the parable of the Good Samaritan. And when the guy was helping the Good Samaritan or the guy that needed help, he didn't give him a political religious test, right? He just said, you're in need and I need to help out my neighbor. And that's the problem that we have in America. Nobody wants to help anybody that they don't agree with. Well, it's like if that's going to be the test, nobody's going to help out anybody and we're just going to see our country go to hell. But we're running out of time, Daniel. I wanted you to have the last word, but praise God that you're called and we always love to hear from you.
Thanks, Mr. Davis. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to give Mr. Miller a call.
Okay.
And hopefully get me on there. And I'll give you a call back here, soon.
Okay.
And we can talk again.
You bet. What you've done
for me, really, Mr.
No. You don't have to say that. We're just going to make noise and shine light about your case, and we're not going to back down, and we want to give God the glory as we do it, but we want to get you out of there if at all possible, and we want to see you get your freedom again and reunited with your family.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Man,
Okay.
really.
All right. God bless you.
I'll give you a call, man.
Okay, don't lose your sanity. Don't lose your sanity while you're in there. Okay. All right. All right. If you think of any books you need too, while we got time, if you think of any books you need, let me know. Okay. All right. I think I got that in there. That's Daniel Borden, and he is a political prisoner. He has been made to be a devil in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I, for one, refuse to kowtow or bow down to mainstream pressure that we should not be supporting him. I think that we should be supporting him, and we should be supporting him in a loud and bold way. And the same thing goes for Jacob Goodwin. Jacob Goodwin has two parents that love him a great deal, Tamara and Scott Goodwin, and they are very vocal in support of Jacob Scott Goodwin, and praise God that Jacob Scott Goodwin has a couple of parents like that. But you can tell that Daniel Borden has a good head on his shoulders, and he should not be spending the next 3 years, 11 months in prison. I mean, it is just insanity. Our criminal justice system in this country is satanic, and the police state that we live in, we need to stand up against it. And there's a comment by, I think it's Alexander Solzhenitsyn. He got thrown in prison, I think, by the USSR. And he said that if more of us had resisted when they came and threw all of us in prison, and some of them may not, go home that night, then it wouldn't have been so easy for them to create the Gulag Archipelago that Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote about. All right, that's all I got. I do pray that you look up on our website, Year of Jubilee. You're not going to find it if you Google it, because Google doesn't ever put my websites on their search engine. You have to type it in, Year of Jubilee. Jubilee is spelled with one E, just like it is in the King James Bible. Once you get there, you can click on Jacob Scott Goodwin's photo, and it'll take you to that page. You can also go to IHateTheFBI.com, which is an even easier way to get there. That might be the best way to just go to IHateTheFBI.com, scroll down until you see Jacob Scott Goodwin's photo, click on that, and then you can learn a great deal of information about what happened at Charlottesville. And if you don't want to support either one of these individuals, shame on you. And when they come for you to throw you in prison, I won't be shedding any tears.